Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to my deep guide. Well, today I wanted to check out some old things, some new things, and go a little bit down the memory lane rabbit hole. What's it about? Well, today I'm going to be sharing with you what are the absolute worst ePaper devices that in the years of doing my deep guide that I had the opportunity to test and use, and what are the best ePaper devices also that I've had the opportunity to test and use. If you like the work that I do and you would like to support that independence in work, you can head on over to mydeepguide.com/shop, where you can find high quality ePaper and template products for your ePaper devices. MDO, or My Daily Organizer, is a workbook to help you organize all of your personal or professional yearly, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily needs. It is a completely interlinked workbook, making it an extremely powerful addition to any of your ePaper devices. MMP, or My Deep Guide Meeting Planner, is also a hyperlinked workbook focused on helping you simplify, centralize, and organize all of your meeting planning needs, allowing you seamless navigation between different meetings from the meeting index page, and with each meeting having the ability to have individual agenda and notes. You can also find My Deep Guide Curated Templates, which is a collection of very carefully crafted notebook templates. What makes MDG Curated Templates different, all of them are pixel perfect for the device screen size that you are using them on. This is why there are so many different variations, so that you can choose the one that fits your device perfectly. These templates also maintain a universal 8mm line spacing standard and 4mm grid spacing standard. Purchasing any of these products will enhance your productivity and simplify your organization. You also directly support independence of My Deep Guide. So let's start with a fun one, the absolute worst ePaper devices that I have ever used. In both categories, I'm gonna name 3 devices. So we start from the third place, or the third worst device that I have used. But for all 3 of these, I've actually dug out the old videos, and I'm gonna give you snippets so that we can also have a little bit of a time travel and see how my hairdo has changed, how my camera setup has changed, how my moods have changed, and all of these kinds of things. And then I'm going to give you a very short recap here in the today and now. And as the third worst ePaper device that I have ever had the pleasure or the opportunity to use is the Pocketbook InkPad X. Today we're taking an in-depth look into the Pocketbook's flagship e-reader device, InkPad X. It has this, I think, the most uniform lighting that I've seen of any front light device. There's no edges bleeding or anything like that, and the scrolling is weird. So if I have 2 presses and I start moving them around, it will move around, and I can now zoom further in or zoom out. But yeah, now this happened. I honestly never saw this before. I don't know how. Whoa, okay, so now he's selecting things. So now I can pinch and zoom out so that we can get back to normal, maybe. And he's still doing stuff. What happens with the scribbled notes on the text if you pinch, zoom in, and zoom out? I've scribbled in what? So now I'm just gonna pinch in so that you can see what happens in real time. There. So let's say that I go to power off logo. Look what it did. It just completely goes bananas. And actually this is what I'm gonna get. So if I go back to home now and I press this to actually get there, well, yeah, that clearly didn't work at all. That's just broken. User experience overall is quite clumsy and it feels dated. There's really no excuse to force the user to touch and go through so many menus and sub-menus and always go back to a home menu and then tap a gazillion times to just go back to where you were. The constant performance lagging in literally any operation that you do, it will unfortunately leave you with plenty of time to ponder whether the development team and the device should have delivered more for the price that you paid for it. Boy, have things changed. I'm just gonna read stuff out from the already prepared list. So for InkPad X, the positives would have been great design, great screen and front light, and still today I maintain that that front light was one of the nicest ones that I've seen on a 10.3-inch device. And another point that was interesting about the whole platform was that it supported natively DRM content, which is not something that you see on majority of devices of this type. But as we've seen, the negatives are unbelievably slow to the point of unusable, really bad battery life, really bad user experience with infinite amount of sub-menus, no image or contrast control of any kind, no updates that addressed so many issues, and it represented a really bad value at $490 back in 2019. The second worst ePaper device that I have ever had the pleasure or the opportunity to use would be the Books Poke 2 Color. Today we're taking an in-depth look, finally, into the Onyx Books Poke 2 Color. There is a fairly deep and big indent here. Do you see a little bit of a difference? There's only the blue light as it is now. Right off the bat, that's a huge negative for me. I can't really refresh simply because the operating system on Poke 2 has not been updated. You don't have the refresh button here, you don't have the navigation ball to be docked, you don't have customizable floating bars in the reader and all that kind of stuff. Everything gets progressively worse and worse and worse. How is this like, yep, that's good to go, we can use this? I have set it up to refresh as often as it possibly can, but I still get these types of images. You can switch, you just need to, these little three dots here, you can tap on them, and again this edge. Damn it, Onyx Books Poke 2 Color e-reader. For me, it doesn't work. The positives of this device are few. Only one, actually. One of the first Color Kaleido e-readers and the first Books Color Kaleido e-reader. That's it. Everything else is a negative. It was basically a very expensive prototype with the user interface, and the indented screen design didn't really work and you had to fight it all the time, making the device really difficult and a chore to use on a daily basis, especially because of that small screen, small user interface elements, etc. It had truly impressive levels of ghosting, and impressive in a bad way, not in a good way. It had a dreadful front light, really bad battery life, and to top it all off, when you combine all of that, virtually no support at all, because the device that I've had, and I've owned it for over a year, I think, before I sold it, or maybe even more, it received no updates whatsoever, and whenever I reached out to the support, they said like, well, no. So no support at all. And now the crowning achievement, the worst ePaper device that I have ever had the opportunity to use. And that is the one and only TopJoy Butterfly. It is going to be a video about the TopJoy Butterfly, the 6-inch reader. The refresh is not that good, the ghosting is horrific on these panels, the contrast is not that good, and the clarity. The biggest problem for me on the TopJoy is the clarity. It's simply really bad. Now, I don't know if that has to do with the display that they are using, or maybe with this screen protector that they have. You don't have a dual color front light, even though they've promised that. They've delivered just the cold light, and that cold light is really unpleasant. It's not calibrated properly. At minimum, it glows like mad. At maximum, it's just like, I don't know, a nuclear disaster of some sort. Most of the people are, thankfully, not gonna be able to get their hands on this device. Ultimately, do you want to use something like that? No, you really don't. And this one trumps the Books Poke 2 Color because in its positives, it has no positives. There's nothing good about it. It's badly made with glue issues and some devices actually unpeeling and having awful things happening to them. Really bad image quality with the readability of text being, sometimes even completely unreadable. Awful front light, even worse than the Poke 2 Color, which in itself is an impressive achievement. Blotches on the screen if it was actually pressured a bit, which a refresh could actually get rid of, or maybe they would become permanent because the screen decided to kind of crap out. Terrible battery life, and essentially it amounted to a not finished product. And to top it all off, because this was a Kickstarter endeavor, majority of the backers actually didn't even receive their devices, and I was the one of backers that never received anything. Just zilch, silence and all. The only reason why I was actually even able to have the opportunity or the pleasure to test and use the Top Cherry Butterfly is because Nurentin kindly sent one that he received to me to test out and bring the review to you guys, mainly as a warning. And with no surprise, shortly after the whole debacle finished, there was no support for the users, no support for the dead as a dodo. Alrighty then, now let's move on to the best ePaper devices that I had the opportunity to use or own. And in the third place, as the third best ePaper device that I have ever had the pleasure to use, is the SuperNote Manta or the A5X. Just as a design, it's like super nice and comfortable to use on a daily basis, comfortable to read, comfortable to write with, and the half cover is designed really well with a good latch kind of a design that's lasting, properly made, and it's just a design that's fully functional and completely out of the way on a daily basis, which is not an easy thing to do. Part of this design and one of the really big benefits of the SuperNote Manta is the fact that it has sustainability and repairability in mind, and that's because you can simply remove the cover from here, expose the internals with the battery, with the Wi-Fi antenna, with the button, with the main board stuff, and then you can upgrade or replace components should you need to do that in the future. Unlike the SuperNote A5X, A5X2 has upgraded internals and it has been optimized in such a way that it actually has really good performance now, which was not the case with the A5X. It maintains excellent user interface and excellent user experience, coupled with some of the absolute best note-taking functionalities on the ePaper market. What are the bad things about it? Well, it's using the Feel Right 2 writing surface, and it's not necessarily bad per se, but it's not paper-like, it's very unique, and it does have this kind of almost slipperish, but not really slippery type of feel, which is highly dependent on your writing style, mainly the pressure that you apply when you're writing. And when you combine all of that, it's a writing feel that will not be a good fit for everyone. The lowest contrast setting that you can set on the device is way too aggressive still, and in some instances for some type of content, it's simply too dark. And the last and really important part, which is a bad side, is an excellent device, but really pricey. The second best ePaper device that I've had the pleasure to use is, maybe a surprise to some of you, Remarkable paper tablet, but Remarkable 1, the original one, from 2017. And this baby here is one of the first 200 units ever to have been shipped or delivered to the users, because Remarkable is a Norwegian company. I'm based in Norway, so I'm one of the backers who got the invite. So I went to their brand new yet unfurnished offices to pick up my unit of Remarkable 1. And I just got the info that I'm one of 200 people that's gonna be able to receive their Remarkable paper tablet early. This is one of the products that I've been looking for a very long time, and I can't wait to see how it is. I have picked up the Remarkable, better paper, better thinking. I've never felt anything this light and this compact for this size. This is a pun, but waiting to happen, but this is remarkable. This is very cool. I mean, this is such a focused device that I'm amazed somebody actually had the guts to make exactly what it is, which is paper for the 21st century. This just blew me away completely by how focused and simple and how much sense this thing makes. It is just a focused device that makes sense, which is not something that we're used to. We're used to all the bells and whistles and, you know, shiny and loud and obtrusive and things like that. This is the complete opposite of all of that. It's amazing. Oh, that was ever such a long time ago. I wore a cap and everything. And what do you say about the amount of gray hairs? Like, it was like only a couple of there and now... Even after 8 years, this is still one of the devices that has the best writing feel overall. Even today, when I just pick it up and start writing on it, it feels so good. The overall combination with the distance from the screen, the contrast, the writing feel, the reflections, the whole shebang, it just feels more like an ePaper slate, same as it felt back then, than an ePaper tablet. And that combination makes it feel truly special when you are using it. This is something that was not really the case on Remarkable 2. Remarkable 2 is an excellent device and it has really strong points on its own. But as far as the ePaper concept and distraction-free kind of thing and everything, Remarkable 1 was better. Another remarkable kind of a thing, and it's a testament to Remarkable as a company and their team, and that's the fact that even after 8 years, this device can still update to the latest software updates and still fully supported. 8 years you are getting out of this device, and that simply makes it an amazing value. However, it's not all roses. It was slow to begin with when it first came out, and now 8 years later, well, it only feels even slower. While you have the ability to update it to the most current Remarkable OS version, unfortunately that also means that this device will suffer from the usual and current user interface or OS gripes that the Remarkable platform as a whole has. And finally, it does have a darker screen than what other 10.3-inch devices have. And now, the drum roll for the best ePaper device that I have ever used, and to no one's surprise at all, it is the Book's Note Max. I've already said that this is the best ePaper device that I have ever owned or used, and I've also made a video about it to explain why that is the case for me personally. If you're interested to see that, you will be able to see it in one of the cards here. Here are the factors that, for me, make the Book's Note Max the best ePaper device that I have ever owned or used. It represents a rare example of what Books is actually capable of delivering when they are not desperately trying to make a jack-of-all-trades type of a device, but instead they actually focus on creating an ePaper device. Go figure. As a whole, it manages to deliver an excellent balance of focus and functionality, which is not always the case with Books devices. Quite contrary. It's an absolute powerhouse, and what I wrote here, it's one of the most capable, powerful, and versatile ePaper devices, yet it is still a true ePaper device, which is most certainly not the case with its successor, the Tab XC. It has excellent writing feel and performance, excellent note-taking functionality since the updates 4.0.1 and 0.2, excellent reader functionality and versatility, basically unmatched on the ePaper market, excellent performance because it is equipped with the Snapdragon 855, and it actually is priced very aggressively. Even though it's pricey, it represents an excellent value, if that's the type of device that you are actually looking for. However, absolutely, it's not perfect, and it has a couple of issues that you really need to be aware of as well. First and foremost, it has ghosting issues, but this is something that I've been in contact with the Books team, and they are actually working actively on it to try and mitigate that. And if they manage to employ the similar or same type of software deghosting solutions that the Tab XC is using, which has some of the best deghosting performance that I've ever seen on an ePaper device, if they manage to roll out that on the Note Max, that's going to be a big plus. It being a books device, it suffers from the standard problematic learning curve, user interface, user experience illogicalness and frustrations of a standard books OS. One of the main elements of that frustrations are the absolutely terrible and dreadful default settings basically across the board in reader functionalities, action bars, how apps behave, like across the board. The default that books offers you represents the device and the platform at its worst light. Because of that, I do have a collection of videos and guides, again, somewhere around here, that's gonna help you kind of sort out all of that mess and configure your books device to something that I personally feel should have been a default starting place and something that represents a books device like Note Max, for example, but it's equally applicable to any books device in a much more balanced, focused, and better light. And finally, like the Remarkable One, it actually has a darker screen than its predecessor, the Tab X. Well, there you go. So those are my picks for the 3 worst and 3 best ePaper devices that I have ever had the opportunity to use. Please do let me know in the comments down below what your opinion about this is, and also I'm way more interested to hear what are your top choices of the worst and the best ePaper devices that you had the opportunity to experience, use, or own. I hope that you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe and ding the notification bell in the description below to get notified when new videos come out on mydeepguide. Thank you so much for watching, stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye!